Hi, March is just around the corner and we need to figure out a TBR, but I thought that we should make it a little bit more fun this time around. So, we have the TBR Bowl. It's an incomplete TBR Bowl, to be fair, and it's gonna be a lot of adventure. So, I thought, why not just go into this TBR Bowl and try to pick out my March reads? For the record, my best friend and I had started making this TBR bowl a few months ago over a weekend, but we didn't get all the books that I owned printed. Not every single unread book is on here, and also there are some miniatures that are just blank. Another thing is that a lot of these books in here I have since then read. So it's truly a mixed bag, let's be honest. And my best friend wanted to get me a big ass bowl because they wanted this to hold my entire book collection, not just my physical TBR, like not just my unread books. And they were like, well, it's gonna grow with you, and I want something big enough to hold all your books. And that's just the sweetest gesture. So, here are some ground rules that I'm setting. First of all, if I pull out a blank book from this, then I can pick the book that I want to read instead. Secondly, if I pull out a book that I've already read, then I just put it back in and continue. And finally, if I pull out like the second or third book in a series and I haven't read any of the books in the series, then by default I need to read the first book in the series. Without further ado, let's just get started. It looks, feels, this feels like it's got a cover on it. Swimming lessons, which I have read. So I guess back in the bowl it goes. Ooh, I should have set it aside. No matter. Okay, this feels like another book that has a cover on it. Funny story, which I've also read. It feels like a blank. Yep, this is a blank. Okay, so there are some books that I did put on my March TBR, and one of them is a book that I'm already currently reading. I've been reading it since January. You guys are probably bored of watching me talk about this book, but it is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. So this is a dark academia book which is almost 650 pages long, and I was slow to get around to this, not gonna lie. And I'm currently 250 pages in, and considering my reading speed, I don't think I'm gonna finish this in February itself. So I am going to just continue reading this, and this is gonna be my first like pick, but it's kind of a cheat pick. So you know what? Let's get back to the poll. That feels too blank for my liking. What the heck? Oh no. I won't be reading that. Normalize not giving an explanation. Okay, finally. This is I Was Born for This by Alice Osman. This is one of her like novels. I think it's in the Heartstopper universe but doesn't follow those characters. And honestly, I don't even remember much about this, but I've got her box set, and I was just thinking about reading more Alice Osman because I picked up the Heartstopper yearbook by her earlier this month, and I wanted to go back to these books. So, what the hell? I was born this way. Okay, now on to the next pull. Ah, this is the Atlas 6, the Atlas Complex. It's the Atlas 6, but I've read this, so nope. Oh, bhai sahab. A Day of Fallen Night. You know what? I'm gonna pull out like some other books, and then we'll consider if I want to go in for this or not. Because A Day of Fallen Night on my TBR basically just means that I've got a Priory of the Orange Tree on my TBR. I know that A Day of Fallen Night is the prequel, but I'm gonna go read these in publication order, which puts the Priory of the Orange Tree as the book on my TBR. And you know what? Honestly, I would love this. This is also the reason why I decided to reject The Tomb of Sand, because I've already got one gigantic book that I'm going through, and considering the time that it is taking me and how slow it is overall, I don't think it makes sense for me to put another 600, 700, 800 page book on my TBR. And I'll struggle. I know I'll struggle. So, I've read this one as well. This is All About Love by Bell Hooks. What is happening? What to say when you talk to yourself. This is a non-fiction book, and I have read this. British Girl's Guide to Hurricanes and Heartbreak. I've read this as well. Why are so many red books on this? Okay, I got it. I got a blank. And so there's one more book that I have been reading in February, but I haven't finished. So I'm going to continue it into March, and that is Storyworthy. This is a non-fiction book about how to be a better storyteller. And if you can't tell, I started this without a bookmark, and then I used one of my own notes as a bookmark. So this is the book, and I look forward to reading this in March. What else? Ooh, The Devil in the Dark Water. This is again another really thick book, but you know what? I'm just gonna give in. I'm gonna read this. The Devil in the Dark Water by Stuart Turton is going on my March TBR, I guess. But that means that I will not actually be reading The Priory of the Orange Tree. I am so sorry to this book for now, but okay, so I pulled out two books and I looked at both of them, so I don't think it would be fair of me to not to put any of them back, because I know I would be selective. And both of these books are, first, I have Sanditon by Jane Austen, and second, I've got The Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black. And you know what? Sure, why not? I think that's all the books that I'll be able to read, because there are some other books that I definitely will be reading in March. So let me talk about them, and then we'll summarize all of this for you guys. So I want to read the Last Hour series by Cassandra Clare, and I was considering but on the fence about like rereading the entire Shadowhunters Mortal Instruments universe. But then some people in my book club said that they're gonna do it, and if anyone's interested, I was like, well, that's a sign if I've ever seen one. So I am gonna be doing a reread of all the Shadowhunter books, and these are the first two. We've got City of Bones and City of Ashes. We'll be reading two books every single month, so these are going to be the first two. So these are the books that I will be reading in March, because I want to be at pace with my fellow rereaders slash readers. So these are two books that I'm going to be reading. And then it is March, it is springtime, and I saved this particular series for March. So I'm gonna be reading the Emily Weil series. Like, I'm just putting the one book on my TBR because God knows I've already got more than enough books on my TBR for March. But but I'm gonna be reading the Emily Weil's Encyclopedia of Fairies in March, and if I get a chance, you better know that I'll be reading the other two. But for the sake of the TBR, this is the only book that's on my TBR, okay? And then finally, I'm doing this year-long reading challenge called the Shelf Therapy Reading Challenge, a reading challenge for girls overwhelmed by their TBR. I think it's called. It's a long ass name, okay? But I'm doing the Shelf Therapy Reading Challenge, And one of the books that I selected for that challenge was for the prompt, A Book You Forgot You Owned. And that was Wild and Wicked Things for Me. And why not? Why not just challenge myself more and read twice the number of books that I've ever read in a month? Because why not? Why not? Anyway, one, two, three, four, five, six. This is six books. And then the four books that I selected, which was I Was Born for This, The Devil in the Dark Water, Sanditon, and The Prisoner's Throne. I want you to comment how many books you think I can realistically read from all of this. And I guess we'll both know the answer together when I post my wrap up. This has been a really chaotic video, but you know what? This was my sign to kind of go through this and add more books. Like, what? Look at this. This is just lying there looking at me. This is the Dictionary of Lost Words. And this is a standalone and an unread book. And there are so many unread books that I can see at a glance. But for some reason, all the books that I got when I put my hand in here were either the biggest freaking tomes or books that I've already read. So this was really chaotic. You know what? Let's fix this. Let's add more books to it, because since I made this, I've read a lot of these and I've added a lot of new books onto my physical TBR. So we should do that and then try again next month. Okay, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye. I wish the society would inform us when they're doing shit like that. They're throwing stuff. Oh my god, that's horrifying to watch. First of all, I want to read the Last Hours series by okay.